Hey guys, welcome to Greatness Quest. I'm Trevor Crane, and every week I'm bringing you someone to take your life and your business to the next level. Today, I'm here with Dieter Strotzinger. I can't say your last name, brother.
You said Staudinger.
Staudinger.
But that's okay. My son would have loved you for that because he loves everything Russian. Even though I'm from Austria, though, so just
and you're living in Canada.
Yeah, and I'm living in Canada right now. Yes.
So where do you consider home?
Home? Anywhere on this planet, man. I've been fortunate enough to travel pretty much all the continents. So yeah, it's a great.
Okay,
it's a great
now you're
place to
pissing
live.
people off, especially for those Americans who don't travel, right? So if you don't travel, get a passport and get out of the country and go see the world. We're going to talk about some of your adventures and whatnot today. But the focus, Dieter is actually one of our #1 best-selling authors that is part of Your Epic Book Launch. So if you haven't gotten that book yet, make sure you get it. He's one of our contributing authors, and he's part of our team that helps people actually build a book for their business, grow their book, their brand, their business, their thought leadership. And he is, we're going to talk about how he helps with the millionaire mindset, which is in fact what your contributing chapter is in the book. So talk to everybody now about what kind of holds people back from writing their book, maybe some challenge you had in getting your own book out, and like what they need to do to take action in any area of their life.
Mm-hmm. Well, Trevor, thank you first of all so much for having me on the show. It's an honor to be here. It's a lot of fun. And just to be honest, one of our mentors, you know him very well, Mike Koenigs, he calls it the Ernest Hemingway excuse. And to be honest with you, I've been a psychotherapist in my own practice for over 10 years now. And this issue of perfectionism.
Okay, hold on. You just mentioned a couple of things that are confusing me. I understand the Ernest Hemingway excuse. So that is because 81% of Americans, according to a survey, said that they want to write a book, but that's as far as it ever gets, is that they don't actually get it done. And they use a variety of freaking BS excuses. One of them is, oh, well, I'm going to have to go off into the middle of nowhere and write like Ernest Hemingway did. Okay, so that I get that. Which I know you're saying I've done, you've done. When I first interviewed Mike Koenigs, by the way, I had to admit the same challenge. Like it's not like I didn't know I could write my own books. I've written them, but I hadn't published them. I got all these books at home that are written on these, and like, oh, it's beautiful, it's my opus, but I didn't get it out and get it done. So are you telling me that you had that challenge as well?
I absolutely had that challenge. But you know what? A lot of it comes from simple ignorance, to be honest with you. And ignorance is not a bad thing. Ignorance just means we don't know, right? And we don't know what we don't know. And for a lot of us, that means that we tend to make things up about, well, how hard it is to write a book, or how long it really takes to write a book, or, I have failed in my, my English class, or, so I would never be able to write a book. So
I think those are really key, brother. Now, hold on, before you go on to that, because you said something about
psychotherapy
for your business. So hold on.
Yeah.
You hired a psychotherapist to help you in your business? I missed that part.
No. I'm actually a trained, licensed psychotherapist.
You are?
For over 10 years now. I had my own practice. So I've always been interested in the workings of our mind. I've always been interested in what makes certain people successful, and also what makes other people utterly be prisoners of their own mind.
Okay, so no more bullshit here. Not that you've been bullshitting me, but let's get to it. What is it then? What is it that gets people successful versus the bullshit and the excuses that you were just saying? If you had to cut it down into caveman, dumb Trevor language.
Yeah. Well, I do my best, Trevor. I do.
I know. Just speak and make it small words.
Yeah, plain and simple. If something good happens in your life, you build on it, and you own it, and you internalize it, and you keep expecting more of that in your life. Mm-hmm. Now, if something happens that is not very good, right? We all have those experiences in our lives. You instead of what a lot of us are kind of like learning from our environment, our parents and everyone else, is making this to be a monologue about our self-worth, right? How deserving we are of that success, or how we're unfortunate to be growing up in a certain way, or having a certain financial backing growing up or not. Now, when something negative like that happens, you can brush it off, like water off a duck's back.
You can, but oftentimes people don't.
Well, you asked me what is holding people back. The fact that we don't is holding us back. We create entire stories. We create entire mind palaces from, this happened in the morning, and you carry it on
right,
all day
I just
long.
tripped, and so today's going to be a bad day.
It's going to be
and
a
then
bad day.
That person just looked at me, and they had a straight face, but maybe I'm like, they frowned at me. Look, it's happening again. More bad
So
day.
you're reaffirming your story, basically, right? So you're self-justifying. And we all tend to do that.
Well, and often when we open our mouths, we'll say the same thing, right? It's usually the reasons why we haven't accomplished whatever we've accomplished. I used to use the word try a lot and unconsciously say, oh, I'm sorry, I tried. And I realized, in fact, what I was saying was I failed.
Yes.
And when I had to make that dramatic shift in my own head, I had to say, hold on. This is a softener. When I'm using the word try, I'm trying to make it okay that I didn't do something. You know, what did Yoda say?
Do not try. There is no try. Do or do not.
That's right.
I use that a lot with my male clients because we tend to kind of get that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. If you say that to a girl, she's going to be like, you geek.
Dude, you got to leave.
All right. You're watching Dieter Straussinger, and we're on Greatness Quest. We're gonna take a quick break. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here with Dieter Straudinger. Did I get it right?
Almost, man. You got it.
Say it again.
So just Staudinger.
Staudinger.
Yeah, dude, that's it. Just let it run off your tongue.
You know, I was all this angst. All right, well, hold on. The reason we're here is that this is about, I'm talking to Dieter about the millionaire mindset. The cat has been to all areas of the globe using this mindset, living not just an abundant life financially, but one where he there is no obstacle he can't actually overcome. We're going to talk about this in this segment, but we were just talking about the mindset of what holds people back. So kind of bring us everybody to that, and like what your advice is then about that transition.
Yeah, one of the best ways that I can recommend to people is to actually slow down. Like that seems like almost counterintuitive, but what we need to do is we need to slow down so that we can actually take a step back and watch that inner dialogue going on. Like this is key. This is one of the most powerful tools that anybody can learn. And all it takes sometimes is just simply taking a deep breath, like we just did with my name, right?
You did.
And then you just watch the dialogue. Because the moment we start watching, subconsciously something happens. Instead of being identified with that dialogue as this is me talking, we recognize that this dialogue is happening and we're actually contributing to it. Now, in simplest terms, you cannot let go of something that you believe you are. It's just impossible. But you can let go of something that you have, right? And that is a key distinction. And we use that in psychology and psychotherapy a lot, because when people think, I am bad, it's one thing to say, I made a mistake. It's another thing after a few mistakes to think that I am a mistake. I'm so stupid,
Yeah.
So that's where we wanna split off. But the only way to kind of like quantum leap through this is by actually stepping back and learning to observe that stream of thoughts. rather than to be completely identified to the detriment of feeling it emotionally in our bodies.
Well, and I think it's not, so I'm a scuba instructor, and when I was going through that training, and I grew up in Arizona in a desert where the only water we had was like out of a glass, or I guess we had a couple of lakes and stuff, but I learned to become a scuba instructor, and when they're walking me through the rescue diver training, we learned the 3 things you did in case of an emergency. And they probably taught that to me multiple times, but that's when I got it, right? And it was stop, think, and act. So if you're panicking underwater, this was what we taught everybody. And so we said, stop what you're doing. Like, I'm freaking out. I'm 100 feet underwater. Blah, I think I'm going to die. Which never happened to me because I'm so brave. But for the instruction was stop. Like as soon as you realize you're in an emergency, don't just freak out. Stop, which is what you said, slow down. And then in the instructor training, it was think, like, okay, now think about what's going on. Think about it, which is kind of what you're saying as well. Watch what your inner dialogue is doing because we are contributing to it. The pattern is to not stop, not think, not slow down. And then if you're aware of it, like from a third-party perspective, which is why it's so good to get some freaking help. Get yourself a coach and a consultant and someone to help you do whatever it is you're looking to accomplish. Because then they'll give you the help, they'll give you that outside perspective, and you can look at it and now start to shift. And one of the key things that I think slips by is the I am statements. Mm-hmm. I am a procrastinator. I am a lazy bastard. I am a beautiful, sexy beast. Whatever it is that you think you are. But these slip past, especially that self-talk we have that doesn't serve us. Yeah. And if you get someone else to help you or slow down and listen to it, it's such a sabotaging piece of bullshit. And it's also what holds us back from writing our books and taking action and having all the results. Would you, you get 10 years experience with this, brother.
But I would also, because I also love scuba diving, and so I'm one of the things that I learned, it's not just, the stop and then the observe and then, recognize what's going on, right? And then act, right? I have noticed, and maybe you can say this too, in scuba diving, if you're actually in this space of being at ease and relaxed, you use less oxygen. So you can actually enjoy the journey a lot more.
Dude, right? When we did scuba and I'd take people out for the first time, it was hilarious. Or like when they're for a new diver, right? They breathe so dang fast. They're like so I could stay down 3 times as long as somebody because I'm just breathing. Because look, I can't tell you you're breathing right now. Obviously, I think you do breathe. You do breathe? I know you're beautiful, but you're not just a mannequin. But we take these little breaths. It's like you breathe in, you breathe out. But for some reason, when people are panicked and anxious and nervous, they just like completely consume all their oxygen. And then they're like have a 5-minute dive because they drink all their oxygen.
But so many times we talk about, how to write a book. Oh, I don't know this and that and the other thing. These are the foundations. And that's what I think a lot of people are missing. They get instructions, but then they can't manage their own emotions, their own mental space. And this is so key because if we learn something new, guess what? You're gonna feel uncomfortable. That's just a neurological fact.
Yes.
There's new synaptic pathways that need to start connecting, and how that feels in that primitive shell of ours, it feels uncomfortable, literally feels uncomfortable. So we have to be able to weather that storm.
So I'm sorry to interject, brother, but I want to give away your gift. Greatness Quest. Go to greatnessquest.com/mindset, and Dieter's got a small report on the 5 top things that hold people back. And so you can get some of those, so make sure that you avoid them and how you can overcome them. So make sure you get that, greatnessquest.com/mindset. And, I was just thinking about my daughter. You said that when people are learning something for the first time, it is uncomfortable, or when they're doing something for the first time, and people don't like to feel comfortable. They don't like to feel uncomfortable. They want to sit on the couch and feel good and have the thermostat adjusted just fine so they don't have to take off their shirt because I got Spider-Man underneath it. I don't know. Every time I wear a shirt with snaps, I just have to tear out of it.
You just wanted to do that, right?
Exactly. I'm like, hold on. What am I saying? My daughter is learning something for the first time, and she just hates that she's not excellent at it right away. Now, the kid learns so fast. It's disgusting. But I think adults do this all the time. Like, we think we're not good at something, or we're scared. We more have a story that we're scared that we're not going to be good at it, and oh my God, what happens if? And so we don't actually take action because we don't want to feel uncomfortable, or we start to feel uncomfortable and we're like, I can't do anymore. And we're going to go ahead, and Dieter's going to tell you how you can overcome that. Hey guys, you're watching Greatness Quest. I'm here with Dieter Stroudinger. Did I get that? Was that better?
You're getting that.
So
I promise
close.
you by the end of the show, you got it, man.
Okay. I keep practicing when we're off camera. Dieter is the #1 international bestseller of Juice Your Way to Health, which was a passion project that you took on. Finally, was this the first book you actually published and got out of the BS and actually published?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Trevor. So Juice Your Way to Health, that's a passion project that my wife and I, we were just interested in, taking healthcare in our own hands, learning about prevention rather than, becoming a casualty in the healthcare system, with a degenerative disease. So that's how we got started. And of all the books that I wanted to write, Trevor, this was not on the list.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to go ahead and ask you about that. So let me go ahead and I want to. A lot of people have written books, but not a lot of people have had your success with them out of the box. And I just want to make sure I mention that because there's a reason why I decided to partner with Dieter in Your Epic Book Launch is because he had an epic launch. His book, when it first came out, pre-launched and sold, it became a #1 bestseller in 19 different categories. There were 21 unique hot new releases. That means that Amazon and all these different categories is basically promoting and saying, oh my God, you guys have got to get this book, which gives you a lot more exposure, a lot more downloads, lets you grow your business. What you were just saying also, which is so cool, is this is a passion project that you took on and was not necessarily what you thought would be your first book, but you built a business behind it because and you've built a business because a lot of people are like, all right, well, he wrote a book, big deal. So there's 1 million people who write a book, but what did you do? In the last few months, Dieter's brought on 10 new private coaching clients. He actually built another consulting practice part of his business and brought on 2 or 3 new multi-5-figure clients. So in a very short period of time, after moving through all of his BS, he went and created results. He was a best-selling, he made number 50 in all of Amazon in the country of Canada on bestseller list, like book number 50. Freaking
overall.
Amazing. Yeah. Overall. And he was the bestseller in 6 different countries. So if you would like those type of results, you've got to get Your Epic Book Launch. Dieter, again, is part of our team. You can reach out to him individually or you can get him through yourepicbooklaunch.com. You can go check him out. But he's part of our team, and now his focus is in helping people actually get over their BS and launch their books, which you were just getting into, brother. So talk to me a little bit about because I cut you off right in the middle of what this was a passion project, and you were saying off camera that a lot of people are scared to try to build a business around their passion.
I think that's one of those programs that we kind of grow up with in our culture, that whatever you do to make money, it has to you have to hate it. It has to hurt. It has to hurt. And the more it hurts, the better you are at it. And for us, that's just not, to me, I see my parents struggle with their health and my dad's business. So I've learned that, there's got to be more to that than just, keep struggling and
tell people so I get it, because that makes sense. That's very warm and fuzzy. People listening are like, oh, that's so nice, right? But how do you turn your passion about juicing, which seems a little weird to people that may not juice, into a business? And how have you leveraged that into getting any freaking clients? Because people don't understand how to do that.
Well, that is a legitimate question. I'm glad you asked it, because it actually was fairly simple. I really have to tell you, once I made that commitment to write the book, and the reason why I wrote the book is simple. There wasn't a book out there that covered the aspect of juice cleansing, which is really what my wife and I were doing. We're doing a 40-day juice cleanse that covered the aspect, the emotional, the mental aspects of cleansing, of a juice cleanse. So when we kind of put this book together, already before we even pre-launched, and we gave out chapters, people were saying to us, "Wow, this is a great book. I hope you guys are going to speak about that." And that's exactly what we started doing when the book came out. We basically had a bunch of copies with us. First small groups like 5-10 people, then bigger groups, 20-30 people. And we used technology to connect with people too. So people could text in right straight when we were on stage, and they would get something in return. And that's how we started building our list, and that's how we got our clients.
So you started with the passion. You strategically built your book to go ahead and grow your passion with a business and a product and services behind it, which is the beginning part of what we teach with your Epic Book Launch, is that you should start with the end in mind. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I got to write a book." And then they'll finally hammer it out, a struggle usually, and make it a bigger, harder process than need be. But then if they do get it done, then they're like, "Oh gosh, now it's published." And then they're like,
now what?
"Oh, I wish it would be a #1 bestseller." So then they're like, maybe they get there, right? If they can relaunch it or whatnot, then they get, and then they're like, then what? Well, maybe I want to get some clients from this thing. So now how do I market my book? So you already started with all that strategically, and you allowed your book to position you in such a way that people said, "Can you come on my stage?" And already it sounds like just when you started with, and this is cool. Guys, check this out. What Dieter just said is as he started just releasing chapters. So pause for a second. See, he didn't wait to finish his freaking book before he started telling the world that it was available. And then before it was even done, he had people saying, "I hope you come teach me about this. I would like to know more." Cha-ching. Like, what we want you to do is you never stop marketing your book from the concept of like, "Hey, I'm going to write a book." Start putting it I'm going to write a book. Start telling people, "I'm going to write a book. What's it about?" My passion, and I'm building a business behind it. And you'll start to just pull people into you that want to know more. So thank you, brother, for sharing that.
No, and the best part of that is you create anticipation for other people, but more importantly, and that's something that comes out of Harvard psychologist Tal Ben-Shahar, it's called you throw your knapsack over the wall. If I tell people my book is coming out, I'm going to pre-launch it, here's some stuff, I'm committed to it. Right, and that's a big part psychologically. So I'm kind of closing off all these different holes that that mind of ours can make excuses. So it really propels you forward.
Well, let's go ahead and we've been talking about doing some mindset stuff, and really we've just been jabbering. So we've got some of the things that hold people back, that self-talk, the I am statements. What would you say? And you said your first suggestion was to slow down. What else would you say is like the millionaire mindset? Like, how can people reprogram that, get their book done, start any project? What else would you suggest?
Well, to be honest with you, and I know we don't have that much time, so I think the most important one that we haven't mentioned yet is simply asking for help. I cannot overstate this, because people that don't have a lot of confidence tend to feel that they have to do it all by themselves and they have to show up perfect right out of the box. And so therefore they close themselves off. And I know I've been guilty of that many, many times before in my life. But the key is ask for help.
I'm going to throw something in here, because this happened to me recently. I was looking at hiring another mentor to help me. And so what's funny is that I always tell people to ask for help. This is my pattern. Like, if there's one thing I have to say to help an entrepreneur, or anybody wanting anything, I'm like, well, get clear about what you want, and then get some freaking help. That's number one. Like, just have somebody help you. Why do you figure it out yourself? What a pain in the ass. But I found myself running the same pattern again, brother, and this is why I'm admitting it. It was earlier this year. It was in January. I'm like, all right, I'm looking for a new mentor. And so we were having the initial conversation about whether or not I was going to bring him on my team and to help me specifically, meaning I hire him. That's what I just be clear here. And I'm talking to him about it. And I said, you know what? I feel stupid that I would need to hire you to do something that I feel like I already should know and should be doing on my own. Because I know what it's going to take to get me to the next level. I'm just not there yet. And I know you can help me. I really hope you can help me. That's why we're having this conversation. But I just feel stupid. These are my words, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about self-talk.
Yeah.
And I feel stupid that I would even need your help because this is kind of, I just feel like I should already be doing this. And so what he did is he kind of used your strategy. He slowed down. He repeated back to me what I had just said. And then he actually said, Trevor, what that means is you're saying, do you think your clients are stupid for coming to you asking for help to create a result that they haven't helped? And I was like, no. He's like, well, that's what you're creating. I mean, that's what you just said to me. I mean, and that's what you're going to put out in the universe. He's like, what do you think about when people come to help you? And I'm like, well, I think they're making a really good choice. Like, I think if they need help, they come to me, and that's one of the smartest things they can possibly do. So he's like, are you smart or are you stupid? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess a little of both. So that's really awesome, brother, that you said that. Ask for help. Now, this is from someone who studied from Harvard, or I don't know, you brought this up, but Dieter, that's excellent. So in this context specifically, who should they help? What help should they get? What do you recommend someone does?
Well, we're talking in the context of writing a book, right?
Okay.
So I think you should, at the very least, talk to somebody or get some help from somebody who has either successfully published their own book, right? And when I'm saying successfully, I mean that they are actually using their book to leverage their expertise and their wisdom to help and serve other people. Right?
You know what? This is actually key. You mentioned this off camera. You said that sometimes we have this self-talk, these stories that we create ourselves, and they're real for us, even though they might be bullshit to the world. You said that there are some famous people that have done this as well, and you had a couple examples. Can you give that? Because I just admitted that I was running a pattern that I thought I had completely blown out of the water, and then I freaking was doing it again. So just make sure you tell a story that makes me not the only asshole.
Well, there's about 7 billion of us.
Thank you for that.
But seriously, the difference again, just to kind of like make that joke a little bit more tangible, is being one or having one are two different things, right? And we're talking not just about assholes here. So one of the most amazing people on this planet, Maya Angelou, after she had written 17 bestsellers, and there's like New York Times bestsellers in there as well, she was still suffering from, in psychology, what we call the imposter syndrome. And in some way or another, it affects actually more than 70% of the population. But she still thought, oh my God, when are people going to find out that I'm fake, that I'm not real? Now, Maya went on to write 33 best-selling books, and her contribution to humanity are just huge. But even somebody like her, has these challenges, right? I know that
the self-doubt. That's what you're calling the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that somehow that it doesn't belong to us. We don't belong in that group of what we look at as successful people, of people that serve others and get paid well for that as well, because I think there has to be a balance between the two of them.
You know what? I'll just admit something, because this is a fear that will come up. It's an observation, is the difference that I see in the mirror sometimes, because I notice myself in different situations, and sometimes not in the most favorable light, right? We're talking about that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So there have been times I feel more like a little kid inside most of the time. Like, I'm the guy that go at holiday events, I go sit at the kids' table. I'm usually playing with the kids the whole time. I'm just a big freaking, I want to play and have fun and be a kid. And I notice myself running those patterns often. But then I also, professionally, I deal with business owners all day, some extremely successful ones, and others that are wanting to be even more successful. And wherever they are, there's always another level, which is what I believe in. And I sometimes will stop myself in the middle of that and see like, holy crap, like I'm an adult and I'm helping people. So there's this combination between the little kid and then my expertise. And it's funny how I dance between both. I have no challenges with it, but there is some that's I don't know that it is self-doubt. It's limiting beliefs that'll come up that always keep me inside this bubble, holding me back to the next. And I completely agree with you. I think the magic, one of the reasons that we co-authored this book together was we wanted to get the help of one another. Like your epic book launch was a #1 bestseller in 60 categories in 6 countries in 24 hours. And, and I don't remember what number it hit in all the categories and whatnot, but it was an amazing launch because we had a team to help us get it done.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to do this all yourself, I think is just really good advice. Brother, talk to me how this is applied in your own life about how you've traveled the world and gone to the freaking North Pole, Antarctica. I don't know, are those close to each other or am I getting it messed up? Because you did this I saw this video of you doing this amazing trip and like going to play. I mean, what the hell got you going there? Like go to the worst place on earth, How did you figure that out?
So from where we are here in North America, you go at the bottom of the globe, Antarctica, so South Pole.
So yeah, I'm not gonna be a geography.
So that's it's pretty far away. Let's put it this way. So that is exactly what we were just talking about. It's when we get an opportunity, right? There's this part in us that shrinks from it, and then there's this part of us that grows into thinking about what it would be like. So it was a 2-man skiing expedition, and my partner, not my wife prefers sunny, warm climates, but my partner Armin Wirth from Germany and I.
It was a guy that went with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just sure because your wife didn't say, well, go on with that bikini model to the Antarctica. She didn't say that.
No. Especially when it's pretty cold in Antarctica. It's actually. It's been measured the coldest place on Earth. So
why did you guys decide to do that, by the way?
Why did we decide to do that? Well, on a purely physical level, we wanted to do 2 things. One, we wanted to open up a new route to the South Pole, right? So a previously unexplored route, and we also wanted to traverse the continent just under our own power and with wind, so with kite skiing, if it was possible. And on a more personal level, it really was exactly about facing these demons, facing these fears that keep holding us back, that keep holding us in what one of my mentors called the mediocrity, right? That we're comfortable but not, we have somewhat of a comfy life, but really our own desires, our passion, who we know on the inside that we are and we can become, we're not getting outside of that comfort zone. And that's where life really starts, Trevor.
It sounds like you rolled out of bed one morning or went to sleep one night and you said you wanted to challenge some of these demons versus you woke up and said, oh, I need to know a new route to the South Pole. No, I don't think you were staying up at night like, gosh, what would be another way to get to this? It's not like it's Vegas,
Yeah.
It's not like, woohoo, we need to let everybody in. Like, oh, there's just such precious shit there in the middle of the South Pole right at the tip. No, there had to be something else. So it's that bigger vision of, so it was a personal thing there for you to expand your own, your own comfort zone. Is that more accurate?
And I would absolutely. And I would just say that an expedition is like a conscious growth spurt in your life. And I would even now, having done that and also having, written, my book and then contributed to yours, what I would say, writing a book is a conscious growth spurt. But just like an expedition, once that growth spurt is over, you get the benefit for the rest of your life. I mean, for the rest of my life and your life, we're #1 international best-selling authors.
I know, dude, and I can't believe I waited. I would say the biggest thing, the biggest thing that pisses me off about a lot of the things that I have done, and writing a book, for example, is one of them, is how many years I said I was gonna write a book and didn't, or did part of it, or started it and didn't finish, and how freaking great it is to have now not written one, but written and published 2. My daughter's now written 1. My wife has written 1. And we've been talking about this. I mean, I don't know if it's been for over the 40 years I'm now been alive, but I mean, I've been talking about it for a long freaking time. The biggest mistake was just not setting a date and just hitting it and getting it done. There's so many simple books. I just interviewed Nabi Kleinman the other day. I mean, he's got a very simple book that teaches some pretty profound stuff. It's Rich Girl, Poor Girl. But look at this. It doesn't have to be a freaking opus. It doesn't have to be this gargantuan encyclopedia of knowledge to get your book done.
And in many ways, to be honest with you, in many ways, if it is too big of a book, people are not going to read it anyways, right? So really, it's providing the value in a concise and fun and informational, but also entertaining manner, and then creating that relationship with the reader. I think that's really the key of what a book can do for you. And honestly, I agree with you. The biggest mistake is having waited so long. Now we're in the second project, the Millionaire Mindset Formula, where we interview people who are very successful in business, but also in other areas of life. And the things that we're giving away to your audience, the 5 things that hold people back. Well, we've kind of like distilled the 7 essential keys that we need to practice, like in our mindset, to go from mediocre or from the world's against me, and I've been struggling all my life, to finally start rocking it, right? Yeah. And it's not as difficult as people think. Now, I won't lie, anything worth living takes some effort. But we need to understand also, it's also part of mindset, where effort is warranted, because what comes after it, the rewards from it are just tremendous. And I think that's what we're here, and sharing with your audience anyways. So.
Well, Dieter, I think this is cool. It's another thing you kind of just you just kind of skipped over, and I want to end with this little. You just basically mentioned the chapter you contributed inside of your epic book launch, which is so key about this mindset you need to accomplish, to finish and follow through, has now become a new book project. Because it's another valuable skill that you have, as far as the 7 essential keys that people need, that is now become a book, and you've started interviewing more people and started telling the world about it. This is another example of promoting it. The book's not done; it's not available yet, but Dieter's he's not holding back by telling you that it's a next book project, and he's now promoting and positioning himself accordingly, and then building his business behind it throughout. And then where do you spend time getting this done? Like, is it worth the effort? Because it is going to take some work. But then where else can you have somebody else do the work? I had my roof put on and I got that result done, but I didn't do it. It took me 2 days to fix a hole in my roof that was like 3 by 3. 2 days. And I was so proud of myself. Like, I did it. 2 days. 2 days. It took 1 day for a team of people to put a whole new roof on my house. So there's a time that you should work hard and a time you should work smart. Like, maybe people this is what people oftentimes make things too difficult. I do this all the time, right? We always need some help, to have somebody else just say, you know what? Let's find someone else to do that who's a lot better at it than you, which is another reason why you should hire Dieter and me to go help you. Go ahead and get these parts done that you're not great at, so you can spend more time and you're awesome. I mean, if I'd have made one more client in 2 freaking days, it would have paid for my roof like 10 times over, or just gone out and had some fun, So at any rate, brother, what would be some last advice you have for anybody watching? This is advice, by the way, from a man who's been to the freaking South Pole with skis and a kite and one other dude that his wife let him go with, because what kind of trouble is he going to get in the middle of freaking nowhere in ice, right?
A lot of trouble, just not those ones.
Right. Different trouble. Like, did you come home with all your bits?
Yeah, I did come home with all my bits. We actually, you know what, we were crazy enough. We went there twice. So
That's right. The video
Yeah.
I watched. Actually,
Yeah.
where can they find you, Dieter, so they can go ahead and check out that video? And because I
Yeah.
remember there was some media coverage on it that
Yeah.
you had to go back to do it again or whatnot. So where can they find you?
Just go to aloha-antarctica.com. So that's you know, even juxtaposing Aloha and Antarctica, you know, was really, because Aloha has that nice feel, right? That good feel, and Antarctica feels like it's like this. You gotta do it.
Yeah, that's a
So
little like Hawaii, South Pole,
yeah,
Aloha, Antarctica. Okay, so aloha-antarctica.com. That they're going to get some of the footage about that expedition.
yeah. There's lots of pictures, videos, and we blog from the ice. Like we use satellite phones to blog. We did a couple of calls to schools and talk to kids in class. So it was a lot of fun. It was awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen all the video. I saw maybe I was probably like 20 minutes, like tooling around on there. It was pretty fun. I'm gonna have to go check it out again. What advice? I'm sorry, I wanted to make sure we wrap this up because we've had kind of a long call here. What advice do you have for somebody about what's next for them? This isn't context of book, but in whatever they want to accomplish.
Honestly, best piece of advice while we're on the call or just after, open up your calendar, right? Open up your calendar and schedule in by when you want to have your book. Like seriously, there is nothing more important than having this. And then set a reminder, by the way. I don't know, lots of different apps can do that, where you remind yourself every day that this is going to be the date. Made all the difference in the world for me, because it really brought it from, yeah, I want to write this book. I know we should write the book. I've been talking about writing the book, to it's going to be pre-launching December 21st. And that was my date. So everything, you could say start with the end in mind, but I'm just going to say the best thing for somebody that's still sitting on the fence, still wondering about it, you know, because once you've made the date, then you can go and call somebody and say, I've done something, you know, I've made this date, I need help, you know. Now there's some urgency, now there's some focus towards the goal.
All right, brother. So you've actually given me a challenge. I'm looking up, my eyes are looking up at my calendar I've got on my wall. I've got a big grease board up here. And so I hate you bastards that come on my show and then give me a challenge like that. You're like, okay, next thing you need to do is go do this. And I'm like, damn it, because I got to do it. So I don't know where I got a grease pen around here. I'm going to write on this board here. Now I got to pick a date, and I'm going to do it publicly. This is going to be my next book project. And I've got 8 titles of new book projects that I've got on it. I'll show it to everybody. So I'm not bullshitting anyone. These are the book titles I've got here, underline on what I want to launch this year. I'm going to pick one of these and pick the pre-launch date and put it on the calendar here in the month of August. So I'm not going to do it right now because I want to actually be more strategic, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm picking a date in the month of August. That's going to be my next pre-launch date. Now, this is key. That does not mean that the book has to be done.
Absolutely not.
This is
absolutely not.
Describe what pre-launch actually means, because there's a lot of, it's not like when the book is done, but describe so everybody understands.
Well, it's one of those great features that Amazon gives us as authors, and all that really means is that you pick a date, and by that date you have a cover and you have a draft manuscript that you upload into KDP, and at that point you can actually take orders or pre-orders for your upcoming book, and you can schedule the book as far in advance as 90 days, I believe, is still the cutoff. So anyway, between that pre-launch date and 90 days after, that's how long you have to actually get your book done, which I think is phenomenal, and it's great marketing-wise, strategically, because by the time your book actually comes out, you can kind of do another promotion, which creates even more positive dynamics as your book physically becomes available or as an ebook. But it all starts with picking that pre-launch date, right, Trevor?
You bastard. I'm just looking at my calendar here and I'm like, and I don't even want to do August. I'm going to bump it up to July. So I'm going to pick at least 1 or 2 dates here from my next pre-launches of my next book projects. And what's key here is my outcome is not just to put the book out, but to have that business behind it that's going to serve it, my mission and my passion and whatnot. If someone wants to find you, Dieter, on your general website or on social media, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, the best way is find me on LinkedIn, for example. Like just put my name in, Dieter Staudinger, and I know that we'll have a
that'll be printed on the so you don't have to try to spell Dieter Staudinger.
Yeah, don't even try. I would encourage everybody to go to juiceyourwaytohealth.com because
they can spell that.
Yes, you can spell that. And from there you can look at my name. But also, I just, even if you're not interested in, your own health and how to actually take it to the next level, I want to encourage you to kind of look at how we have set it all up, right? So you can see it in action. And
bastard.
So that's
I hate being challenged like that. Son of a. Now I got to do your juice your way to health thing. I'm gonna have to get healthy too. All right.
Well, you know what? We've gotten lots of great reviews, lots of great feedback. So we're just putting together the video course for it. So that's in the final.
How long is your Juice Your Way to Health program? What are your options of how long?
It's a simple 4-day program.
That's it.
That's it,
dude. I'm doing it. I'm doing it right away in the next 30 days.
If you have issues with sugar or cravings for caffeine or something like that, these 4 days, because I'll tell you one little bit of information. What we don't realize is that eating takes up 70% of our energy, right? Of all of our energy available to us, generally speaking, digestion takes up about 70, and if we eat a pretty crappy diet, even more than that, of our energy available to us. Now, with juice cleansing, you take those 70 to 80%, and you allow your body to put it where it actually needs that energy to go to repair, right? To reset and to rejuvenate. And as little as 4 days is actually effective and efficient. And it will help with those cravings for sugar and carbs as well. So it's really powerful.
All right,
and we
brother.
have people in their 70s do it. So age is not an excuse here.
All right, I'm doing your juice cleanse, so I'm going to do that. I've done them before, and I actually have gotten a lot out of them, and lately I've been just addicted to sugar and whatnot, so that's...
When we get busy, those are the things that we reach first, right? The
it's
stuff
just so
that burns
easy.
quickly.
I'll eat anything that's in front of me, so that's the challenge. Yeah. I need to bring in another chef that just kind of puts healthy food in front of me, or someone do my shop, because I'll just eat anything. So I'm going to do that again. And then I'm also going to take your challenge here very personally. So I've really enjoyed having you on the call today. I'm going to go ahead and do your juice cleanse. So get his book, Juice Your Way to Health, and then pull out your calendar and pick a date that you're going to pre-launch your book. That's your shipping date. This is what Seth Godin talks about a lot, that if you just set the date and the deadline, that everything else will come into play. And then you still have up to 90 days to get that done. What Dieter just told you is that you need your cover done, which you can get done for $5 on Fiverr. Don't go do that yourself. Go get some help. Actually, just get our Epic book launch system, and we'll help you with this whole process so that it's not overwhelming. But if you're going to do it yourself, that's fine. You're not listening to instructions, but whatever. Go get some help with Fiverr. And then you need he said a manuscript, but it's really just an outline of what you want your book to be. It's so simple.
That's it. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can just be a Word document. It's basically something to show Amazon, I'm still on this whole thing. Right? Yeah. That's all it's about. And you can even change the cover later, so you're not stuck with it. Yeah. But you got to have one to get going.
You got to have one to get going. So get your cover and your outline done. Pick a date. Put it on your calendar. We'll help you write your book. We're going to hold your hand. We've got a whole program with Your Epic Book Launch that's going to help you actually get that done. So we'll hold your hand and give you that help. And we will see you next week. I'm going to introduce you to someone else to take your life and your business to the next level. You're watching Greatness Quest. I'm Trevor Crane here with Dieter.
You can do it, man.
I can do it. Hold on. Now I'm just laughing, so I'm going to mess up your name. I'm here with Dieter. Straw. You're loud. I can't look at your face and do it at the same time. Hold on, I'm going to look away. I can't do it. Stradinger. Damn it. Did I get close? Say it.
Yeah, that's close.
That was close enough. All right. I'm here with Dieter Stradinger. We'll see you next week. You're watching Greatness Quest.